So, welcome to episode 2 of our podcast, Where's Your Focus? I'm Karen Alexander.
And I'm Linda Watson.
Hi. So, before we get into what our focus is today, and I've got my notes all around here. Before we get into what our focus is today, we just want to touch on the Schumann's resonance a little bit because there's been a lot happening there. And I guess this whole week has been a little crazy. I'm watching, for anyone who's interested in watching, you can see on disclosurenews.it, and that's in Italy, where they're checking out where they have the recordings of the Schumann's resonance there. Also, HeartMath Institute, which has a receiver or a recorder, I guess, in Alberta. Okay.
We'll post those links too, so you can easily.
Yes, we can do that for sure. So on December the 5th, we hit 800. It was a little high. It's actually the highest that's ever been recorded, and that was in Italy. Okay. On December the 7th, we had a C7 solar flare. So I don't know if one has anything to do with the other. This is kind of what we're looking at right now. And I say we, I mean scientists, not me. And I'm just kind of paying attention and watching what's going on. So there are different levels of solar flares. The C would be the weakest one. And then you get into the M, the class M, and the class X. And the class X is the one that will knock out the energy grid across the, wherever it hits, right? So these CMEs that are exploding in this, well, I say CMEs, these solar flares that are coming from the sun right now can cause CMEs, which are called, and note the name, coronal mass ejections. Okay, so the CMEs are the coronal mass ejections, which come out of the sun, and depending on where they're directed as to whether we are going to see them or feel them. But if you look on disclosure.news, you can actually see the C7.4 solar flare. It was a long duration, which happened, and they have it recorded. So you can actually go in and see that, okay? And now,
I just want to,
sure.
Sorry,
yeah.
I think it's really funny how when I was doing some research this year, I was looking at different things about what corona actually means. And the circle around the sun is actually called the corona.
The corona, yeah, exactly. and also what goes around our brain,
Yeah, like our
right?
halo. We
So
see
our
that's the
halo.
corona.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So we've got a lot of things going on that are called corona or coronal or whichever at this time, right? It's quite interesting.
It is.
So the coronal mass, now they're saying that this one is very likely to I need to put on my glasses, like to see what I wrote down here. Very likely to have an Earth directed component, this C7. So they were looking at the time yesterday when I checked, because that happened on December the 7th. So yesterday was only the 8th. I'm sure there's more information going to come out on that if you want to check the websites. And then we get into, let me see, December the 8th, yesterday we hit 200. So we're pretty high on the Schumann's resonance right now. The other thing that I just wanted to touch on quickly before we get into our focus is what else is happening astrologically this month. Okay, so we start off on December the 14th with the new moon eclipse in Sagittarius, which is a good time to focus on our inner, like kind of what's it's a good time to reflect, focus inward, and to kind of think about how we've changed since 2020 has come in and what's going on there. So that new moon eclipse in Sagittarius is quite interesting. Then on the 16th, Saturn enters into Aquarius, which is followed by Jupiter entering into Aquarius on the 19th. So this is what the astrologists are calling the age of Aquarius. So we're starting into the age of Aquarius, coming out of the age of Pisces. And what's happening then on the 20th is this, and this is quite interesting. Mercury enters Capricorn, and Mercury is a quick thinking planet. So if we look at what that could, if what that could mean for us as being quick thinkers or thinking more quickly at that time. So that's on the 20th. And then on the 21st is what they are calling the Great Conjunction. So that is when Jupiter and Saturn come together. Okay, so that's, and that'll be visible. It's going to look very like a very bright star in the sky. And because Jupiter and Saturn are social planets and they govern growth and structure, we can expect some very big changes coming. So
Well,
it's interesting to see. Pardon
sorry,
me?
I always thought that Jupiter was the ruler of like the Pisces. So it's a very spiritually oriented planet, right?
Right. Well, this information came directly from astrologists, and they're saying that Jupiter and Saturn are both social planets as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. I kind of lost my train of thought there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, so some very significant changes coming into play with everything that's coming in effect, and it's going to be affecting us, I guess, for years to come. And this conjunction that's happening right now hasn't happened in millenniums of years. So it's quite interesting. One astrologer that I was listening to had said that. That part of what's happening this month happened in the 1600s, and another part of it happened in the 1400s. But this whole thing that's coming together in the month of December has not come together for thousands of years. Yeah. So it's quite interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the Schumann resonance does during those times, because we are expecting some more solar flares according to the, what was the website I went on? Not just, I'll have to find it. I don't remember what it is, but it's, yeah, I'll have to find it. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, and I don't see that I've written it down here. So we'll put that link in there as well. But basically, it's about the solar activity of what's going on. Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
So
We are in a very incredible time
incredible
in our
time.
history.
So maybe what we should talk about a little bit is the symptoms that we can expect, and how to kind of deal with those symptoms over the course of what's going on with the Schumann's resonance. Because if we didn't catch our first podcast, the first podcast explains out what the Schumann's resonance is and how our bodies are in harmony with the resonance of the frequency. I guess our bodies are in harmony. So what we want to have a look at there is, if the resonance of the earth is changing, then our frequency is obviously changing as well, if we were made in harmony of that. So we want to have a look at the symptoms and what we can do if we're experiencing those symptoms. So you want to go ahead, Linda, and start, and I can kind of chime in if there's anything you miss.
No. Well, we've kind of been getting bouts of this over the last couple months, and you can see it in people just looking for answers, asking other people, like, are you guys experiencing this? Like, what is this? Sometimes, like we had spoke about last week, it can be pain in the body. It can be emotions that are coming out. It can be just different things that are happening in your life that are triggering different things. So I think this one here, me personally, I'm a huge dreamer. I love to dream, but it seems like when I lay my head down on the pillow, it's like it's already morning. Like it goes like that. My dream time is like, it's not even happening. But if I do take a nap, I will get a dream in, which is wonderful, but they seem to just be happening, like the sleep time. It's like I lay my head on the pillow and boom, it's morning.
So time is speeding
up. So just, yeah, time is definitely speeding up. Definitely. That's how it feels to me anyways. And I think that I see that happening. Another complaint that I've seen a few people post too is their vision seems to be having a different aspect to it than what they've experienced before. So that means that things maybe seem a little bit fuzzy, or maybe even more sharp than they were before.
See
so
colors
that's another
more
thing
brightly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure. I have those are the big ones that I've paid attention to.
Okay. Right.
How about yourself?
So we're still seeing a lot of people that are talking about headaches, and a lot of the headaches are on the top of the head in the third eye. So that's a big thing. Remember drinking lots of water at that point. For me, over the course of the last couple of days, this is where it's been. I wake up every morning with it right here. And drinking water certainly helped. Dizziness, or just a feeling of off balance, especially when the Schumann resonance spikes, it kind of knocks you a little bit. So you could be feeling a little bit off balance. Your equilibrium could be off a little bit there. Again, the ringing in the ears, that's been quite a common complaint for some people. I actually had yesterday, I didn't know if it was, I was out and I had the TV on, and I just had something on in the background while I was doing some Christmas decorating. And all of a sudden this sharp sound came in through my left ear. Now, normally I get my right ear is the one that pops when I'm getting any messages or anything in, but my left ear, it was just like this screech that came in. And I actually turned around. I thought it was on the TV. That's how loud it was, right? So that's another thing that can happen. The aches and pains, especially now in the shoulders and the back of the neck, is where a lot of people are seeing it now. The other thing that you can possibly notice is when the Schumann's resonance goes off, you might find your emotions kind of go all over the place as well. So really important to remember to drink lots of water. Eat healthy. That's a big thing. We want to make sure that we're eating whole foods. If you can get non-GMO foods, of course, that's always the best. Organic. Any supplements that you need to be taking. Vitamin D is a big one right now. And Linda, you can speak a little bit more towards supplements than what I can.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? I can honestly say, like, I'm one of those, like, I get on a regimen and then I get off, and
Mhm.
I kind of go
It's
back and
hard.
forth. But this period, since I started doing multivitamin, calcium, magnesium with zinc, and manganese, and then I'm also doing extra vitamin C as well. But just doing that for the last 3 days, huge turnaround difference in how my energy levels, because I was feeling kind of, it's like my energy would go up and then it's going down. And then because it's taking so much out of us to do this ascension process, right?
Exactly.
There's a yeah, it's a lot of stress for one, because we are processing information at such a fast level. When we have this surge of these surges coming in, these
Exactly.
little flares, we're processing information very quickly, and it uses up a lot of your minerals and your vitamins. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're replacing that stuff. And the best way is to get a really good quality multivitamin that has high amounts of B vitamins. That's your most important. They're water soluble. You don't have to worry about getting too much of it. Well, your body doesn't use it, excretes the rest. But those are your stress vitamins, right? And they coat your nerves. So when you're actually trying to process this information, because this is, a nerve, brain, central nervous system
Mhm.
situation, we want to make sure we're getting enough of that. Vitamin C is another big one, because we're having, your immune system is also another aspect that's being affected. Well, I mean, your whole system is so. But vitamin C is a healer, right? So it helps your body to heal faster. Vitamin D is another big one for your immune system, but it's actually what your body produces when it's exposed to the sun. And right now, we're not getting that exposure, right? Because it's starting to get dark early and we're missing a lot of that. So you want to be trying to get that vitamin D in your diet, so as a supplement. And I think that those are the three that I would focus on the most if you're looking for something to just kind of give you the pick you up and the energy that you need, because we're really being hit hard with a lot of processing and all of that stuff, right?
And it's going to get worse through the month. And I shouldn't say worse, it's going to get better.
Absolutely, it's going to get better.
Yeah.
And whole fruits and vegetables, those are another whole one, right? Like getting as much raw, uncooked fruits and vegetables are going to be really important right now. The more you eat alive, the more you feel alive. So,
Right.
and that's going to be a really big thing. But first and foremost, if you don't do anything else, drink water.
Exactly. That's the biggest, definitely the
That is
biggest. The other thing,
absolute.
exactly. And the other thing we have to remember is that we need to do what our bodies tell us we need to do. So if we need to sleep for 12 hours, then sleep for 12 hours. If you need to take a nap, take a nap. Whatever our body, and in tune yourself with your body, right? Let your so that you know what your body needs. You're the only one that knows what your body needs. So whatever your body needs at this time, do it.
Yes.
Mhm.
And another thing that I wanted to mention too is the importance of, when we're getting this ringing in our ears, or we're getting pain, or we're getting, tune into that. Ask it. What is it trying to tell you? What message
Absolutely.
does it have for you? Because these are part of the ascension processes, and each little thing you're experiencing is there to teach you something. It has a message for you. And usually when you're experiencing these things, it's usually because there's a block of some way that you're not letting the energy all the way in.
Mhm.
And so focusing on these areas, asking what it needs to unblock so that you get that free flow again. I mean, it's happening to everybody. So
Exactly. We're not alone.
we are
Yeah.
not alone.
So that's pretty much it for the Schumann's resonance. We'll have another look at it during the week and let you know what's going on with that and what's going on in the skies. But a big thing is look to the skies as well, right? Keep watching because there's a lot happening there, and we don't see this stuff on the regular news. Yeah,
We really don't see it. And
no,
it's something that it's so phenomenal, it's so incredible. And we're living history right now as we're going
absolutely.
day by day, everything that's happening. And so just savor it, because this is going to be written in history books. It really is.
Absolutely. And the children growing up today are going to have so many stories to tell their children and their grandchildren, right? Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
It is.
So I guess we kind of went a little bit long on that. We're 20 after. So we're going to get into now our focus of today's session, and that is healing. So Linda, I'm going to let you go ahead and start if that's okay. I just have something to do here, and I'm just going to let you go ahead and talk for a few minutes. That's okay.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Okay, so healing is a topic that is very grand. There's no way we could cover even a quarter of what's there's to be said here today in 40 minutes, but we do want to at least give you an idea of what is happening. When do you need healing? What is the need for healing? Why do you need that? What are the signs that you may need healing in your life? And how can you heal? So we wanted to open with the idea that you have a trinity, right? So you have like your higher spiritual self that's with the oneness of the universe. Then you have the connection between the spiritual self and the human self, and then you have the human body. Okay. The higher spiritual oneness that you have in the atmosphere or in the outside of your body, there are values that you come in that are programmed in that spirit self. And those are your higher values, right? Then you have your soul. So the soul has a different set of, or I can't say a different set, but additional values and beliefs that get programmed along your journey here on the planet. And then you get plugged into your body, and then this is your body, and your body in this life gives you different values and different beliefs as well. So when we see a disconnect between your soul self and your spirit self, we start to get emotions, or your body self from your soul self from your, we start to get these emotions, things that tell us that something's not right here. We're not acting in alignment. And so we start to see that there's an imbalance. So this is when we start to know that, okay, there's some healing that needs here. So you start to look outside of yourself to find ways, learn new things so that you can bring yourself back into alignment. Now, this is a lifelong journey. When you do one piece, there's another piece coming in right behind it that needs healing too, right? So this isn't something that happens fast or easy. And yeah, did you want to add anything to that part of it, Karen?
You're doing great. I will just say though that when we look at our values and our belief systems, and I was kind of doing something, Linda, I'm sorry, I might have missed you saying this, but our belief systems come into this lifetime at a very young age, right? And it's really important to, and they do come in past lives as well, but it's really important for this lifetime to think about where our beliefs come from, and are they actually our beliefs, or do they belong to somebody else? Is it something that we were taught? And 9 chances out of 10 it is something that we're taught. So that's something that we want to explore there, because by being taught what our beliefs are, and then if something comes outside and challenges that belief, that belief now is in our subconscious mind and challenges that belief, that's going to trigger us, right? And maybe we can get into triggers. Is that what we've got next there?
Okay, so the next one we were talking about is the emotions.
Reactions and triggers, yeah. So that can
right.
kind of lead into.
Yes. And so we get these triggers when our values, like our spiritual, what we came into, our whole journey here on the planet and everything that we've come here to do, we have a set of values to help you do those things. And when our belief systems, the things that we learn in our day-to-day basis, do not match what those higher values are, we get triggered. So those triggers is to help us to learn what we need to learn to realign ourselves with back to that higher spiritual self.
Right.
And I have like these thoughts happening all at once.
I'm the same, and I'm just letting you go.
Oh, goodness me. So
because it is such a big, it's such a broad topic, right? So it's, yeah, okay. Go ahead, Linda.
Yes, no. And you know, those little manifestations. So the outside world will manifest what it is that we need to learn, so that it's triggering those emotions to force you to look inward and find, okay, what is out of balance here? What is not working out for me? And this can manifest itself in a physical imbalance. So, you know, physical things that are not easy for you to deal with, emotions that are heavy, imbalanced thinking, ways of, you know, thinking about how things are going in the world. And so, you know, all of these are triggers that, as we go through these layers, this mind, body, spirit layers, we are working on realigning back to that original spiritual self. And we're coming in with, sometimes we come in with experiences, like our soul experience. Our soul is what, you know, what is the word? Records. Our soul is recording all of the experiences that we have as we're going along our timeline here on the planet. So life after life is all getting recorded into the soul. So when our spirit outside of that is up in, you know, connection to oneness, when we plug into that soul, we are already coming into our physical reality with a set of emotions and teachings and learnings, gifts, and different things that we've learned along the way on a path of you know, what we've lived on this planet. So our childhood is actually there to build a stronger foundation according to what you've learned, according to the spiritual part of you that's here to do something good. And the childhood sometimes can be packed full of suffering. And that suffering is there actually to help you to become a stronger version of what you need to be to carry out your higher purpose. And so sometimes we get blocked by that. And we sit in a place of fight or flight. So we're not able to actually learn what we need to learn because we're in that fight or flight stance. And that's another big thing, is if you're in a fight or flight, you're actually not able to learn. So just think about when we're like primitive and, you know, you're fighting for your life constantly because you're living without the security of a house and laws and all of that. And so fight and flight was a very big part of who we were as survival mechanisms to get us to where we are. And it's programmed in our DNA. And it takes a lot of work to open those Pandora boxes and start to reprogram that so that we are able to actually move forward and learn at a very quick pace. So we're moving and we're evolving at a very quick pace. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that one, Karen?
Well, there was a few things there, but you were on such a good roll, I didn't want to stop you. Just talking about the triggers and how sometimes we're triggered, our emotions are triggered, of course, right? And we have that we go into that fight or flight right here, right now. A good thing that we can do at that point to kind of realize, okay, why, we might not realize why we're being triggered, but we need to realize where we're being triggered. And a good way to do that is to try not to have any emotional reaction. You know, like they say, we can't control what somebody else says or does, but we can control our reaction to it. And that's a time that if we are being triggered for whatever reason, something is coming in our life, our day, our minute or our being at that point, and we feel that rage or that whatever that emotion is inside of us, if we can just stop. And it's very important to feel where in the body that emotion is. And a good way to do that is if you can, at that point in time, take all of the muscles in your body, everything, put your shoulders back, tighten every muscle in your body, tighten everything everywhere, your jaw, clench your teeth, everything you can do, and hold that for maybe 30 seconds or so, and then release it. And once you release it, you will feel the part of your body that is still tensed up. And that's the part of your body that emotion is trapped in.
Beautiful. That's a
So
great.
that's a really good way to, and for myself, that's what I do. And that it's been remarkable to understand where that emotion is. And at that time, when you're tightening, and then when you let go, a lot of times you'll say, oh, I felt this. It's not about what happened, it's about when that feeling, right? And you go, okay, I felt this before. So, and that comes into play, Linda, with where you say it keeps coming back, right? Because what happens is we have teachers that keep coming back in our lifetime to teach us that lesson so that we can learn. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And again, I have so many things going on.
I know, right? And
like so many thoughts. I'm gonna have to start making notes.
As soon as we start talking, right, it kind of brings other stuff up. Yeah.
Exactly. So when you're doing that exercise of like tensing up and relaxing and realizing exactly where the tension is, don't be shy to focus on that tension and keep asking, what is it that I'm holding on to here? What is it? What is the message? What do I need to learn? And those three questions. And I'll take the energy from that section and I'll put it in my third eye and I'll ask, what is the message? What are you trying to tell me? What do I need to learn? Those three questions oftentimes will give me a whole new set of teachings, a whole new set of way of looking, and a whole new set of way of acting in the world. And this creates a whole new set of circumstances on the outside.
So, Linda, perhaps you can just explain very quickly, well, as quick as you need to, how one would go about taking that energy and putting it into your third eye, because this is very new to a lot of people, right? And some people watching might not understand what you mean by that. So, and just before you start, it's just, if this is all new to you, just look at it with an open mind and just allow, and then whatever resonates with you, take it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then just leave it.
That's right. That's right. Exactly right. So our energy centers in the body is processing information at all times. We actually have, and it's been proven, we have synapses and like mini brains in the energy centers of our body. And those are like our chakras. I don't like using that because maybe it kind of turns people off of the idea that they're just energy centers. And these energy centers are processing different types of information at all times. Sometimes we'll hold trauma in them. And so when we get these emotions coming out, this is those energy centers doing this work. It's doing what it's supposed to do. But here's the problem. Is a lot of times we have our crown chakra, and our crown chakra sends information downwards, but that information does not come back up. We have to make an effort to bring that information back up. And so that's what I'm saying is we're taking that spot of the body and we're bringing it into the third eye. The third eye and the chakra, the crown chakra, are actually in direct communication with one another. And so the third eye is a lot of receiving information, and the crown chakra will share information with the third eye. So this is why we can see spiritual things at times or deeper meanings of what's happening around us. And so we need to be sharing this information upwards from our lower chakras, our energy centers upwards. And this is why I'm saying, like, if there's anything happening in the body, we're actually focusing on it. And even if you wanted to take the third eye, bring it down and focus downwards, we can do that. You can do that too. I find for me, it works better when I pull the energy upwards. For me, that's all it is. But I've heard of people turning the third eye inward and moving it downwards to the area of the body that's out of balance. See, and I talk about the 7 major energy centers, but we have hundreds of energy centers through our entire body. And if you have ever studied anything with traditional Chinese medicine, they use these energy centers for healing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So your pressure points and your meridians, those are all tiny energy centers running through your entire body. Mm-hmm. And we use those for healing. So each one actually works on different parts of your psyche and different parts of your energy system.
Mm-hmm. And we have 7 major inside of our body and 21 minor inside of our body. And then we also have energy centers outside of our body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think the next thing we wanted to talk about was forgiveness, right?
Right.
Let's right into that.
Which is a big thing with healing. That's probably the only thing with healing.
It's a huge, I mean, for me, since I've discovered forgiveness, it has done miraculous healing on my mind, body, and spirit. And I mean, I really do value the ability to be able to do that forgiveness work and know that information. So I think it's a really great thing to share when it comes to talking about healing.
Right. And what a lot of people don't realize is that when we talk about forgiveness and healing, we're talking about forgiveness to help ourselves to forgive, not for the other person, but for ourselves. Right.
That's right. So healing is to release you from the binds of the trauma you experienced with another person. Now, you're
Exactly.
not saying that what happened with that person or what that person did to you is okay. You're not
Mhm.
saying that. That
Right.
person has its own karma to and its own lifeline to follow, and karma and whatever that is for that person. But what you're doing is you're cutting off the line so you are no longer connected energetically with that person.
That attachment just stopped. Yeah.
The attachment stops
Right.
with forgiveness. Now, we know forgiveness is important. They talk about it in the Bible, but nobody tells you how to do it. No,
Exactly.
there's nothing there that says, oh, it just says, oh yeah, you got to forgive. Well, how, and that's one of like my biggest things is, okay, you want me to do something, but you got to tell me how to do it. And so it wasn't until learning, you have three levels of forgiveness. You forgive others, you forgive yourself, and you forgive God energy. And then the Ho'oponopono is,
Right on. You got it.
I know, that's like a virtual high five, Karen. Learning that form of forgiveness as well is completely transformative, completely transformative.
Absolutely.
And when we're coming up with these disconnects that we have to those higher values that we want to get back in touch with, doing that forgiveness work is one of the best ways to reconnect us to that spiritual aspects of ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're right, the Ho'oponopono is probably what has made the most life-changing difference for me, because that's just basically four phrases you say to yourself. I mean, there's more to it than that, but that's the basis of it, and it's just miraculous.
It truly, I mean, forgiveness work in general is truly miraculous. So when you actually are doing real forgiveness work, you're not just saying, oh yeah, I forgave that, which I hear a lot of people say, yep, nope, I've forgiven that, that's gone. I'm like, okay, well, if it's gone, then you wouldn't be recreating situations that are triggering those emotions. If it's gone, it's gone. And I'm saying you're not experiencing it anymore because you've learned every aspect of that particular emotion or trigger or whatever it is. You've learned every single aspect. One trauma can affect so many different ways. So it can affect your energy in so many different ways. And you have to get through every one, like even
Right.
just this weekend, I had an old trauma come up that I had figured I was long gone. I didn't think that I haven't thought about that in years, but you know what? That particular incident taught me like I learned something I wasn't supposed to learn. Not that I wasn't supposed to learn. I was supposed to learn it, but I needed to unlearn it. It was
Mhm.
time for me to
Right.
unlearn that and learn a new way.
Right.
And
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 then
and
touch us back on our beliefs, right?
Absolutely. That's right. Exactly. So certain things happen to us and we gain these beliefs and we think that that's how life is until we see these triggers and these things come out and you're like, wow, I took
Right.
that out of that. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
let's decide to change that.
Right.
No.
And how many times do people say, well, I thought I dealt with that. Like, why is that coming up again? Right. But like you say, there's so many different aspects to that just one thing. And it just keeps coming back and back until every aspect is cleared.
That's right.
Mhm.
And it's all about learning. It's
All
all
about
about learning. It's all about growth. And it's all about having new ways of acting in the world.
and
That is,
patience.
and patience. Oh, goodness me, patience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's a definitely. And so the next point that we wanted to talk about with healing is worthiness.
Right. That's a big one too.
It is huge. You
Mhm.
need to be able to let it in. If you do not feel worthy of it, you're not letting it into your system.
And everything in our life teaches us to be that we're not worthy, which is it's unfortunate, right? I mean, even to the point of if you grew up going to church, what is it? Lynn and I were talking yesterday or Monday, and what is it that they say? I am not worthy to receive you, but only say the word, and I shall be healed. What is this? I am not worthy to receive. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Everybody is worthy, right?
absolutely. And I mean, we have been chastised throughout history
Over and over.
over
Mhm.
and over and over again for being our true, authentic selves and living out our God given abilities. We have been chastised. We've been burned at the stake. We've been told we're not right. We've been told we're sinners. We're like, so you know what?
We're all sinners. Yeah.
Allowing healing in is it's almost like you need to deprogram these things. And
It's
that
also
in
dismantling
itself,
the belief system. Yeah.
that's right. That in itself is a huge block. And I see it in so many people. And so then it becomes you're trusting yourself. You need, there are so many different facets of healing, right? And whatever you're drawn to is the right one. Do not let somebody tell you, are you crazy? Are you doing that? Are you nuts? No. What you are drawn to is the right one. Don't doubt
Mhm.
your inner self and what inspires you, what brings you forward. You need to, yeah,
And you will find too, as you go through this journey of healing, that your people are going to change.
that's right.
Your friends, some of your family, some of your friends might not understand or might not want to understand or might not feel that it's logical, and that's okay. It's a big thing to remember that we are all on our own journey, right? And we are exactly where we need to be
That's
at
right.
any given time.
And
So don't stop being your true self or stop working on yourself because somebody else says, "Oh, that's crazy," or "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that," or whatever, right?
absolutely. And that goes along with the people pleaser. We all have it,
Absolutely.
right? We all want to be accepted. We all want to be loved. And that is, that is a whole part of being healed as well, is knowing that that is part of, but as you grow, as you move into these new places inside of yourself, you will find those things that do make you feel full, that do give you that fulfillment that you're looking for. And also your needs change as you're doing healing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your whole way of thinking changes. Your views change. Everything changes,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, having said that, going back to our December the 14th, what's coming with our new moon on December the 14th, new moon in Sagittarius is a good time to focus inside, inner focus, and to reflect on how we have changed or how you have changed over the course of the past year.
Oh, that's a great idea. That is a
Mhm.
great idea. And always know there's no magic pill. There's
Absolutely
there's
not.
no one thing that's going to change everything. It's a journey and it's a nonstop journey. It's literally, you get one place, you keep going for another and you keep going for another. And that's how it is, right? So there's just no magic pill to it. You got to trudge through the trenches to get out to the other side. And sometimes there's trenches right after.
Yeah, and don't compare yourself to anybody else either. Like because somebody went through this type of healing, a specific type of healing, and got these effects, doesn't mean that you're going to get those same. You have to do what resonates with you. Whatever you're called to do is what you need to do. And the other thing is, you might go into a specific type of healing and come out and say, "Well, that did absolutely nothing." And go move on to something else, and then a year later or 2 years later you come back and then you'll see results, right? It all depends on what aspect needs to be healed first as to what's going to happen first.
and
So be
yeah,
patient.
that's right. Being patient, absolutely. And sometimes you think nothing happened, and then
Exactly.
down the road and you're like, oh wow, that did happen. Like I did get that out of that.
Well, that goes back to, Linda, when we have pain, right? We have pain. If we have pain, say we have a sore back, and we wake up every morning and we have a sore back, and the next morning we wake up and we have a sore back, and the next morning we wake up and we have a sore back, and then one day we don't have a sore back, but we don't realize, because we don't notice pain once it's gone. We only notice it when it's there, right? So two or 3 months later, you might go, oh yeah, that's true. My back is not sore anymore. And that's the kind of revelation that you're talking about, right?
That's right. Exactly. That's such, I love how you explain that because it's so true. It's so true. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think we're almost at our end of what we wanted to talk about when it came to healing.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered. So clearing brings in our higher vibrations, right? Once we get that clearing done, it brings into our higher vibrations. So before we have that healing done, and like Linda says, it's an ongoing process. We'll never get through the whole thing in a life. It's a lifetime. We're going to be doing that healing. But when we're operating from a lower vibration, we're operating out of a vibration where there's judgment, and there's anger, and there's hatred, and there's fear, right? But when we can bring ourselves out even just a bit, even at just the start of the healing, and when we've got some of our triggers or some of our trauma healed, some of our emotional releases done, we get to the point where we can start living in a higher vibration, where we're coming from an aspect of gratitude and love and excitement for life, right? And just when that starts happening, we notice a difference in manifesting, and how fast things start getting better in our life.
Absolutely
Yeah.
true. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, I have on my list here is to talk about like inner child work,
Yes.
you know, because
Very.
the inner child work is so powerful, is because the inner child is actually those early programs that are part of our biggest teachings of the core. That's the core. That's what we came here for. Those early programs are the ones that we signed up for to make that spirit stronger. I mean, we have lots of stuff that happens along the way, but that core is so powerful. And the more that you dive in and do that work, that inner child work, it just seems to push things forward maybe a little faster.
It's really important to be able to identify the programs that we are running in our system, so that we know which we have to dismantle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Good. Where are we? The different facets of healing, no magic pill, time, patience. Yeah. So I think that's
So we're doing a special shout out.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we're doing a special shout out. I am shouting out, actually, I'm going to shout out 2 people today, because I just want to acknowledge that, you know what, following your dreams and trying to make an impact in the world takes a lot of effort,
Yes.
a lot of courage. And I really want to encourage anybody who is, taking those steps and overcoming their fears and overcoming their emotions to even try, right?
Owning their power.
Owning the power. And it's not an easy road, and it's one step at a time. But you know what? Joyce McGarity, I've seen her doing some lives and getting her information out there. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And also Sharda Dissel. And I'm shouting out Sharda Dissel because you know what? It takes a lot of courage to even decide that you want to do it. And good on you. And I hope that, one day you follow through.
Awesome.
Amazing. Amazing.
Awesome.
Everybody has amazing information to share,
So do these 2 people have their websites, Linda, or are they
They're
what is
actually just
exactly
on
they're doing?
Facebook.
Okay. And what is it they're doing exactly?
Well, Sharda is talking about twin flames and soulmates. And she's got a lot of information to share on those topics that I think is very beautiful. And then Joyce McGarity, she is really come a long way in her healing aspects of inside of herself. And she's really starting to bring that to the table and doing lives and readings and really, you know, taking a huge step. And so yeah, you know.
That's awesome. So maybe we can post their links in our
Yeah.
page, just in case somebody is interested in having a look and finding out about Twin Flames or listening to, yeah, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So we'll take care of that after this podcast is over. We'll go in and we'll post the links for the Schumann's Resonance and the site for the flares that I got were from the flares.
Disclosure.
The disclosure one, that's the Schumann's Resonance, and the other one I'll post.
Sure.
And then we'll post those links, and anything else that we've talked about, we can post links to as well.
Yep.
But we do have a couple of announcements. Linda, I think you had some announcements as well, eh?
Do you have what do I have for announcements? Oh, I am doing inner child coaching calls. I'm hoping to be able to get going on that tomorrow. So anybody interested in hopping on,
Great.
And we're discovering the womb. That's what we're doing.
Nice.
So please get in contact if you're interested in doing that work.
Awesome. That's awesome. And we do have another few things that'll be coming up in the next little while that we will be either talking about next week or posting.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for that information. Our focus next week, we are going to do energy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's also a broad, pardon me?
We're going to be talking energy.
We're going to be talking energy, and that's a really broad subject as well. So trying to get it covered in 40 minutes is probably going to be tough, but we will do it. We'll get the most important things in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So did you have anything else, Linda? I'm just having a look here too.
We did talk about doing a program, the two of us. Are we going to hold off on that one?
Oh, yes, that's true. We did talk about that. Yeah, we'll be posting more about that. It's basically, we had talked about doing a 3-week program where you would have 2 sessions a week, one with myself and one with Linda. So it would be 6 sessions, and we'll be posting more about that, probably starting that in the new year, Linda, I would think.
I would think so too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we may start with our enrollment on that, perhaps January the 1st. Or maybe we'll go a little bit earlier than that. We'll see. But we'll post and we'll talk about it again next week if there's anything changed there. Makes sense? So in that, what we had talked about there was, I don't have it in front of me, Linda.
Well, we talked about.
We talked about developing a program specifically to help you with energy alignment, trauma, emotional release, and spiritual growth.
Absolutely. That's exactly. And
right.
It's customized to you. So Karen and I will be discussing you and working out what you need and where we're going to be going. There's going to be questions to answer, so we get a pretty good indication of where you are, what you need and
what you expect.
Yeah, and what you expect, absolutely. Right. And then we'll be building your journey with us with that.
Right, because between the two of us now, we have quite an array of healing techniques, and that we can help you to heal yourself.
Absolutely. So I think that ties it up.
I think that sums it up. So until next week, hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday for our energy session. Bye, guys.
Bye.